Now to downsize their workforce. This follows some big job cuts from the likes of Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, and others. Here with a look at the rising wave of job cuts. Jason Greer, he's Greer Consulting founder and president. Also, Jessica Kriegel is the Culture Partners Workplace Culture Chief Scientist. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
You know, we've been talking about sort of this wave moving, Jason, but there's two questions. One is, how quickly do you think people are getting picked up on one end? But the other side of this is how big the severance packages are, because one of the things that's held this economy up so far has been consumer spending. And thus far, it remains unabated. And I wonder whether it's because the severance packages, I don't want to say have been rich, but have been something.
Well, severance packages have been big. What we're typically seeing, especially in the tech industry, is that people who've been laid off are picking up jobs within a month to 3 months, largely because they started networking prior to layoffs because the whispers were going on within their organizations. But it's also because they have skill sets that people are looking for. But it also comes back to the fact that these companies, because they don't want to look bad, are giving very generous severance packages, especially to their high-skilled talent.
Jessica, I mean, one of the questions, this is actually, and there's some studies on this actually, that, you know, if you have large severance packages, some people, scientists have looked, and not scientists, professors and others have looked and said, you know what, maybe these layoffs actually haven't been worth it in the end.
Absolutely. The Harvard Business Review did studies on how companies navigated through recessions, and the top 9% of companies who were thriving post-recessions were companies who did not have layoffs. They didn't do layoffs, and they reacted with a calm state of mind. Staying calm right now is an act of nonconformity. There are a lot of CEOs who are freaking out and rushing to layoffs, and there are other CEOs, frankly, who are taking advantage of the headlines and getting rid of dead weight, knowing they don't have to have layoffs, but they can right now because everyone else is, so we'll get away with it, which is really
Jessica, are you
unfortunate.
arguing it's been a mistake? I mean, there's other people who look at the growth in employment at some companies and say, it's been wild.
It is a mistake. That is what the research shows. The economy goes through cycles. And so on average, a recession lasts 15 months right now. By the time you lay all those people off, you have to then rehire eventually, retrain those people. Your other employees who stayed get burned out. Some of them leave because they're irritated with the way that management is handling it. It is a mistake. That's what the research shows.
But can I just ask, that research, most of that research looks back at companies, more industrial companies, over, say, the last 20 years. I think the last study really was just up to a couple years ago. If you look at the tech industry specifically, there was a lot of hiring that went on, especially during the pandemic. And a lot of the CEOs, and especially in tech land, said, look, we just overhired. We just had physically too many people. We should not have done it. It was a mistake. That seems different than the sort of classic situation where you have layoffs.
Well, there's two things going on. There is the mistake of having layoffs, which is not the right move going into a recession, as the research shows. But the other thing is, many of these tech companies don't understand workplace culture. They think workplace culture is the perks. It's hiring a masseuse. I mean, I just saw a headline that Google was laying off their very highly paid masseuses.
27 of them, no less.
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable. So when you're hiring masseuses, maybe you have gotten a little bit fat and happy. Those are not what makes workplace culture. Workplace culture is the experiences we have when I get a Zoom call, when my manager calls me.
And I got to get back to Jason, but Jessica, that's the point. The point is that if you have 27 masseuses, you probably actually, maybe layoffs are warranted. And that's why I'm saying these studies, which thus far have suggested that maybe layoffs don't work, might be applicable to a different generation of business.
Well, let's see what Jason has to say about it.
Jason, where do you land?
Here's where I land. Look, the tech sector moves fast. And whether we like it or not, we have these group of tech executives who are consistently thinking, what's the next big thing? They went about, they hired a bunch of people when remote work was the big thing, and now they're moving toward machine learning. Now they're moving toward, you see, Microsoft tried to dump $69 billion into the acquisition of Activision. I think what it really comes down to is the fact that for tech companies, they really don't care about layoffs because it's still about the business. It's still about the money. I do agree with Jessica that it has a very negative impact on workplace culture. Unfortunately, what we're finding with so many of these executives, they don't care about that. All they care about is keeping their shareholders happy and making sure that their industries continue to thrive.
So what would you do, though? I'll give you an example. Salesforce, a company now under a lot of fire from activist investors. That's part of what's happening here, which is that investors are looking at these balance sheets and also looking at the staffing and saying there's a mismatch. They're also, by the way, looking at the Twitters of the world, seeing what Elon Musk did and saying the thing still seems to be running. We can obviously debate all sorts of elements of Twitter if you like, but it seems to be working, and he cut, 2/3 of the place.
Here's what
I
I would
would
say
be worried.
to them. Yeah,
Go
but
ahead.
here's what I would say to them is you have to be careful about setting a dangerous precedent. If right now, think about this mindset. If the idea is, well, we're operating pretty well, we're making a lot of cash, but everyone else is laying people off, so let's just go ahead and lay people off. Even though we're still financially thriving, that's a dangerous precedent. You also got to consider the negative impact that this is going to have on the people who are still remaining within your organization. You brought up Elon Musk. Elon Musk has basically taken Twitter as kind of like his treasure chest, and he's having fun with it, whatever the case might be. But you look at the negativity and you look at the fact that he had staff dissent to the point where people are calling him out on Twitter. What these organizations have to take a look at, a critical look at, is if I lay off 5,
Right.
10%, but I'm still thriving financially, what is that saying to the rest of my employees, and what are they going to do as a result?
Folks, we got to say thank you because we got some news out, some earnings just crossing the wire. I want to thank both of you. We'll continue that debate about layoffs, of course. Joe?
Yes, fourth quarter adjusted on Chevron, which I don't think the stock is